What's up folks, Nathan here, back again with another Commander video. Recently, I released a video where I outlined 5 general trends that I think are going to take place in 2025 for the Commander format, different ways that the Commander format will change with the trends that we've seen in 2024, in addition to new printings released by Wizards of the Coast in 2025. Today we're taking that one step further by releasing the 2025 Commander Bingo card. That's right, we are taking a look at 25 specific items that I think are going to happen in 2025. I'm going to check back on this list of items in December, and I'm going to see if I can make a bingo out of all of these specific items. Now, our bingo card here is 5 by 5, meaning we have 25 items to go through today, and we're going to start off with the center item, which I believe is the most achievable. Before we hop into the bingo card, just like to ask, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like on it and subscribe if you want to see more awesome content like this. And if you want to support me, you can check out my Patreon, where you can access all kinds of cool perks like your name in the credits of every long form video, custom deck text, deck audits, and you can even play Commander games with me. All right, with that out of the way, let's hop into our center space, which I think is the most achievable. After all, it's supposed to be the free space this year, and check out this cool effect. Whoa! Spider-Man will be the best-selling set of the year. I think that's definitely going to be the easiest item to achieve on our list, and I think that people will just go crazy for Marvel. We'll see if it outsells Lord of the Rings, which was one of the best-selling Magic sets of all time. It's not as fantasy-esque as Lord of the Rings, but I think that Marvel has just the widest fan base you could possibly ask for, and it is a genius move by WotC to team up with the Marvel universe. All right, let's just go straight through 1 through 24 here. Number 1, B1 as it were, is a busted 1-mana draw engine will be printed that is on par with Esper Sentinel. Our favorite human artifact creature is a few years old at this point, and it's time, I think, that he needs a little buddy. I think we need an Esper buddy at 1 mana to spice things up, and I think that with the power creep that we're going to see this year, I think that is entirely feasible. Now, this is going to be tied to the specific prediction when we check back, but my prediction is going to be that this will be released in Avatar, which, if you guys don't know, is one of the rumored sets at the very end of the year, one of the unannounced Universes Beyond sets. So I think that that will be in the Avatar set. All right, next up, let's go to number 2, which is the Spider-Man set. We'll introduce a new format staple on the level of the One Ring. Now, this doesn't have to be a crazy busted draw engine like the One Ring, but there's going to be some sort of artifact, some sort of web slinging thing. It might be an artifact. After all, historically, artifacts are the most busted thing in Magic the Gathering. I think that there's going to be a chase card in the Spider-Man set that is going to be eligible to just make it into every deck, and I think 2025 Power Creep will deliver on that promise. All right, let's keep going here. Number 3 is Edge of Eternities will release a ridiculous new mechanic that belongs in an unset, but it's going to be a legitimate set, and the fact that this is a space opera set makes me think that they're just going to release some crazy new mechanic like Warp Drive or something that's going to be like, you know, fling this creature across your table and whatever it hits, it destroys, and, you know, it's going to be something crazy like that, but we will see, and I'm curious how Edge of Eternities will work out. I think that you could definitely fit a space-themed set into Magic. That's definitely not anything too crazy compared to what we've seen in the past. I mean, after all, if Walking Dead is in the Magic, then we can certainly fit in a spaceship. I think that definitely fits in with Warhammer 40k, and everybody generally thought that Warhammer 40k was a good fit with Magic as well. All right, number 4 here is the SpongeBob Secret Lair will sell it instantly, and people will be upset. Obviously, scalpers will take advantage of the situation. If you guys don't know, everybody was memeing on this on Reddit. There is a new announced SpongeBob Secret Lair, and I think that contrary to what the Redditors will meme on, it's going to be one of the best-selling secret lairs ever. I think that there probably just won't be enough demand, as usual with secret lairs, and I think that people will take advantage of that to scalp all of these SpongeBob secret lairs. All right, number 5, let's jump to our 01. A new staple level finisher will be printed at 4 CMC, and what I'm talking talking about here is some sort of a combat finisher similar to a Chroma's Will. I think that as power creep continues in 2025, we continue to see finishers printed at the lower and lower portions of the mana curve. Typically, they were at, that 6 CMC, 7 CMC back in the like 2014, 2015 era, but now it seems like finishers are typically printed at around 5 mana. Typically, you sort of deploy those finishers with protection if you're at, 7 mana available. So I think we're going to take that one step further by ratcheting down that finisher slot at the 4 CMC in order to close out games just a turn earlier. All right, let's jump to our second row here. B2 is going to be a new cycle printed in Avatar, and I think that the blue one will represent the Water Tribe, of course, and I think specifically that one will be the best in the cycle. We saw in Bloomborough that of all of the season cycle, that the blue one is potentially the best out of that list, and I think that blue just tends to fit Commander better. A lot of these sets are going to be designed for standard because they're going to be standard legal, and I think that, I guess I don't know for sure if Avatar specifically will be standard legal, but I will just say that typically the way that WotC designs blue cards, they favor a lot of cheap card advantage, which in Commander is amazing. So let's hope that I'm not right on this one, because blue does not need the extra help in Commander. All right, I2 is Spider Tribal. Will get the most power corrupt commander for its tribe in the new Spider-Man set. Of course, Spider-Man himself is probably going to be a spider. I wonder if we'll even get a card that is the mutated spider that gives Spider-Man his powers. Maybe it's some sort of an equipment with living weapon or something like that, where it attaches to your creature. Maybe, while I guess most flavorful would be that it would attach to a creature when it enters, and maybe you can pair that up with like a legendary Spider-Man card where like you get the mutated spider and then like Peter Parker, and if they combine you get some sort of souped up, like, I don't know, amazing mecha Spider-Man that, flings webs and destroys the whole board and all this crazy stuff. But as far as Spider Tribal goes, I think the best option they've had to date is Shelob, and that is a 6 CMC commander. Now it has a giant body, that's true, but 6 CMC is just a lot for 2024 commander. So I think we're going to get a more stapley level Spider commander at either the 3 or 4 CMC slot. All right, and we'll move on to our next item here, which is a new Goblin staple we printed for Krenko decks in Tarkir Dragonstorm. Now, if you guys don't know, the Tarkir plane has all kinds of crazy dragons and goblin tribes, and there's humans that are trying to survive on this plane as well. And I think that the chase cards that are going to be in Tarkir Dragonstorm will just be some busted goblins that will definitely go into Krenko decks. All right, next up here we have G2, which is vehicles will get enough support to finally hang at power level 7 tables after Aether Drift, and I am super excited. I am planning on building a vehicle deck once this set is released, because I cannot wait to actually have enough synergy, better vehicles. With Duskmourn, we finally got the survival mechanic, which means a creature benefits when it is tapped. So we get finally the two pieces of the puzzle kind of coming together, where creatures that care about being tapped will power vehicles, and the vehicles themselves needed just a little bit of a power boost to become more competitive. All right, and that takes us to O2, the last of our row 2 here. Busted Mono Red Dragon will be printed in Tarkir Dragonstorm. I think it's pretty safe to say that we're going to see the most power crept dragons ever in Tarkir Dragonstorm, and so Dragon players, get excited about that. All right, B3 here is going to be a new Boros equipment commander will be released in Final Fantasy that cheats equip costs. Now, I am pretty sure we are going to see some sort of reference to Cloud's sword, but I think that equipment and commanders still are not competitive unless you have a commander or some sort of consistent way to cheat on those equip costs. That's the only way that equipment are basically mana efficient. All right, moving on here to I3, a new dog will be printed that sacrifices itself for some reason. Selfless Savior, we love you, buddy, and every time you're in my hand, I don't want to cast you, but you are probably going to be in a dog tribal deck, and dog tribal decks tend to go wide and face a lot of board wipe pressure, so Buddy, we love you, but you gotta give my board indestructible. I don't know how else to break it to you. G3, as we covered the middle space already, is a new card released in 2024 that is not a reprint, will surpass the $100 mark. We saw this with Shieldred the Apocalypse when it was printed, and I have a feeling that there's going to be some crazy new card in Marvel specifically that will hit this dollar value. Next up, we have O3. Red will get a new vehicle with haste in Aether Drift. I think there's going to be lots of references to speedy cars, and of course there's going to be lots of hasty vehicles, and I think Red is going to at least get one with haste. Moving on to row 4, we have Doc Ock, which is Dr. Octopus, for those of you who don't know Spider-Man, will be printed in the Spider-Man set in Demir colors. I think that he embodies kind of Demir perfectly because blue is a lot of pursuit of knowledge, black is power at any cost, and so I think that Doc Ock is a perfect Demir choice. All right, let's move on to I4 here, which is Azula will be printed in Avatar with either an ATB or repeatable damage dealing effect. For those of you who don't know Avatar, Azula is actually a pretty scary villain from the Fire Nation. She's a pretty major character, very powerful, and I think it would be perfectly within her flavor to be able to repeatedly deal damage to creatures because she is one of the best firebenders that the Fire Nation has, and so how else would you dish out damage and represent the Fire Nation than by dealing direct damage? All right, that takes us to N4, which is Full Art Lands will be printed for Edge of Eternities and look absolutely sick. I don't remember the specific land cycle. I will have it on screen that are my all-time favorite basic lands, and I think they're going to look similar to whatever the lands are on screen that I can't remember off the top of my head at the moment. All right, next up we have G4, which is Toph, will be printed in Avatar in green with an absolutely busted landfall or land tutoring ability. Again, for those who don't know or haven't watched Avatar, Toph is a blind earthbender who can manipulate the earth exceptionally well because she lacks that visual sense. So she is just an amazing bender, and she is one of, if not the most OP characters in the entire show. If you sort of break it down within the show, anytime she's on screen, she is doing absolutely powerful and just like busted things within the show. Now, it would be very flavorful, of course, to have the earthbenders be putting lands into play, manipulating the earth, all of that good stuff, and I think she is just going to be the next iteration of power crept green ramp that we will see in 2025. That takes us to O4, which is a new commander will be printed in Aether Drift that cheats crew cost for vehicles. I think that vehicles have the potential to go down the route of equipment where currently the current listing of vehicles is not particularly competitive with the rest of the archetypes within commanders. So I think that the way to get around that would be to just cheat on the crew cost similar to equipment. That's just a very easy lever for design to pull in order to make vehicles more competitive and sell more packs. So I think that this is the commander that we will see will be the most popular out of Aether Drift, but who knows? All right, and that brings us to our last row here. We'll start off with the B column, which this is the sketchiest item, I think, in the list in terms of the probability of it happening, and very risky to be in a corner slot within the bingo card, but this is a new tutor hate stacks piece will be printed similar to Oppo Agent, which I am starting to include in more and more decks just because I'm so tired of seeing those green players just ramp out ahead of everybody, and being able to shut down deck searching is an incredibly powerful thing to do in Commander. Now, this is probably the least likely item to be printed because I think with Fire Design, WotC just wants people to just go crazy, just your deck just should pop off all the time, you know, no matter what, and there should be very little interaction for you, but I really think we need more tutor hate in Commander, and I would like to see a competitive tutor hate piece printed at either 2 CMC or 3 CMC. All right, and that takes us to I5. Aether Drift will have at least 10 cards with cheesy movie puns in the card names. Very, very easy to do. I think in Mark Rosewater's Blogatog teaser, he even included some names of cards, and we've already seen at least a few of those. So I put the number 10 just because I wanted this to be a little difficult to hit. I mean, like, I feel like it's still pretty trivial, but, you know, I can't just say 5 cards and Mark Rosewater immediately, you know, puts 5 cards in his teaser. So we up the number to 10. N5 is going to be a spaceship, will be printed as a mythic vehicle in the Edge of Eternities that is busted in vehicle decks, but we'll see no play elsewhere. I'm looking forward to cool spaceships and all of the cool art that will come out in Edge of Eternities, and that's pretty much that. G5 is a new staple equipment for Voltron decks, will be printed in Final Fantasy. Again, all of the references to weapons and so forth. We could even maybe make the prediction that Cloud Sword will fit this role, but we will see. And then finally, I believe we have our last item here. A Precon will be printed in 2025 with an infinite combo in it. We did see this happen in 2024 with the deck. I'll put it on screen. I don't remember off the top of my head. I believe it was the Zimone deck, if I remember correctly. But I think we'll see that again in 2025. So that is my bingo card for 2025. Let me know what I missed, what you guys are looking for on your 2025 bingo cards, and we will check back with you in December to see how many of these items were checked off and if I get a bingo. And that's going to be the video, guys. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully we'll see you all in the next one.